This is the Day 3 instructional video on section 13.2. In this lesson, you will be combining all the exponent rules that we learned in the first two instructional videos. Make sure that you have your notebook and your pencil and your calculator out and handy so that you can complete this instructional video. Alright, go ahead and take a moment to press pause on your instructional video while you're accurately jotting down this problem. I just want to point out that this variable right here is a z. Alright, so we've got a couple things happening here. We have the first term here is a product to a power, and we're going to multiply that by another product to a power. So we're going to use two different exponent rules here. So in order to go ahead and get started, I am going to take everything in the first set of parentheses and cube it. So I'm going to do 2 cubed, which is 8. And then I'm going to do x cubed to the power of 3. So that's going to give me x to the power of 9. Y to the power of 12. I'm just using my power to a power property. And then I'm going to get z to the power of 27. Times, I'm going to go ahead and raise everything in the second set of parentheses to the power of 2, or square it. So 4 squared is 16 times x to the 10th, y to the 18th power, and z to the power of 2. Alright, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to use my product rule. I'm going to multiply. So I'm going to multiply my coefficients. 8 times 16, I'm going to get 128. Then I'm going to go ahead and multiply x to the 9th times x to the 10th. That's going to give me x to the power of 19. Y to the 12th times y to the 18th. That's going to give me y to the power of 30. And I'm going to finish that up with z to the power of 29. So my final answer is 128, x to the 19th power, y to the 30th power, z to the 29th power. Go ahead and take a moment to pause your instructional video while you accurately copy down example number 2. Now this problem is listed in this section because the two rules that we're going to be using here are the quotient rule. I've got a fraction, and then I also have a quotient to a power. So I have some decisions to make. There's a couple different ways that I can solve this problem. The first way is I could simplify my quotient, and then whatever I have left, I can go ahead and square it. Or I can square everything inside the parentheses and then simplify. So it's up to you on how you want to do this. Simplify first, then multiply, or square it first and then simplify. Either way, if you do your work accurately, you'll get the correct answer. I'm going to go ahead and just square everything and then simplify. So when I do that, I'm going to start squaring 4 squared. I'll start with that, and I'll get 16. I'm going to continue with my numerator. M squared to the power of 2 is m to the 4th. So when I do a power to a power, I multiply, which means I'm going to do n to the power of 10. I'm going to continue my denominator. 2 squared is 4. M to the 7th squared is m to the 14th power. And n squared to the power of 2 is n to the power of 4. Okay, I've completed squaring everything inside my parentheses. So my quotient is squared. So what I'm going to go ahead and do now is I'm going to simplify my fraction. So to do that, I'm going to simplify 16 divided by 4. So I know 4 goes into 4 once, 4 goes into 16 4 times. So I'm going to get my fraction all set up here. So I'm going to put a 4 in my numerator. M to the power of 4 divided by m to the power of 14. That's going to go ahead and give me m to the power of 10. And those 10 m's are going to be left in the denominator because I have more in the denominator than I do in the numerator. So that's going to give me m to the power of 10 in the denominator. And then now I'm looking at my n's. I have n to the 10th divided by n to the 4th. That's going to go ahead and give me n to the power of 6. And I'm going to go ahead and put n to the power of 6 in the numerator because there's more in the numerator than there are in the denominator. So my final answer should look like this. 4n to the 6th divided by m to the 10th. This is our last example before you'll do your extra practice problems and check in with your teacher. So take a moment to pause the video and again accurately copy this problem down into your notebook. All right, if you look at this example, again, I have two rules happening. I have the product rule, where I'm going to have to multiply these two terms, and then eventually I'm going to have to divide because this is a division problem, so I'll also use the quotient rule. Now in this problem, I don't have a couple different ways. Well, I guess I do have a couple different ways I could start out, but simply put, in this problem, I'm going to start by multiplying my numerator. So I'm going to do 6 times 3, so that's how I'm going to start. So 6 times 3 is 18. D to the third times d squared is d to the power of 5. So again, when I multiply with the same base, I add my exponents. And there is no e in this term, so I'm just going to bring down e to the power of 6. And I'm going to put that over. There's nothing to simplify in my denominator, so I'm just going to rewrite it here. 18d to the 7th, e squared. All right. I've got a couple different coefficients, d's and e's, so I know I need to simplify. So I'm going to do 18 divided by 18 is 1, so I don't have to write anything for that. D to the 5th divided by d to the 7th is going to give me d squared. I'm going to put d squared in the denominator, again, because there's more d's in the denominator to begin with. And then e to the 6th divided by e squared is going to give me e to the power of 2. I'm sorry, e to the power of 4. And I have more e's in the numerator than I do in the denominator. So I'm going to put e to the 4th in my numerator. So my final answer looks like this. E to the 4th divided by d squared. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we've come to the end of the instructional video. Pause the video, jot down these two extra practice problems very accurately in your notebook. Solve them by yourself, please, and show them to your teacher. Again, please double check your problems before you check in with your teacher to make sure you have written down the right coefficients and the correct exponents on your variables. Good luck!